There's something more than just knowing that, look here, God's will for me is good, and anything that is happening in my life is good. God is here saying, Jesus is here saying, you can have direct intervention in your life where, apart from the general will of God, apart from God's overall purposes for your life, you can have God intervening in specific instances and changing what is happening. But there is a condition. The condition is that you must believe. And if you believe, you can have it. It is a story of people who face great danger or great emergencies, and they are bold and uncompromising and fearless. Because faith is like this. Faith is knowing God and knowing that God is with me and nothing can overthrow me because I have Him. When a person prays in faith, does God step in and do something? Or has God already done everything that needs to be done and your faith takes it? I want you to consider those two things, because first of all, if when you pray, God steps in and does something, then what we have to contemplate is that God sits there with His hands folded, and you pray, and God says, I would like to step in, but you don't have enough faith. Try again. And you pray again, and God says, let me check it on my little faith meter. 20%, not good enough. Try again. You pray again, and He says, well, you're up to 80%, but it's not quite there. Try again. Who is measuring your faith? Who is saying this is enough and this is not enough? Is it God sitting there measuring your faith and failing to respond because your faith is just not good enough? When a person chooses to become a Christian, when a person becomes interested in Christianity, does God produce salvation at that moment? You know the answer. The answer is no. When did God provide that salvation? 2,000 years ago. When you read in Ephesians 1 and verse 3 that God has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Christ Jesus. Ephesians 1 and verse 3. God has already. It doesn't use the word already, but it is implied. God has blessed us with all, how many? All spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Christ Jesus. So, what this is telling me is that God has filled the universe with blessings. And when He has already given these blessings, He doesn't need to give them again. So when you decide to become a Christian, what happens? God does not save you in that moment, because God saved you, God provided your salvation 2,000 years ago. All that happens in this moment is that your faith takes that salvation. Your faith is able to take hold of what already exists. So if this is true, does not the same principle apply to answered prayer? Are not the things that we're asking for in prayer, are they not blessings already given in Christ? Brothers and sisters, faith is not the answer. Faith is not the answer. Faith is not what takes the blessings of God. You could have faith until you are blue in the face. It is faith in Jesus Christ. It is faith in Jesus Christ that takes hold on the power of God. God has chosen to bless us with all spiritual blessings, but God has chosen to bless us exclusively in Christ Jesus. Do you know that people have faith in their faith? You know, people are believing in their ability to believe. I'm worried sometimes when I hear us Christians talk, because we emphasize faith more than we emphasize Christ. We are fixated on faith instead of Christ. And if you fix your attention on faith, you will fail. Because faith has no power in itself. Faith is only a word that you use to describe a relationship. If you find yourself weak in faith, what do? Don't look for faith. Look for Jesus. If you find yourself struggling to believe, don't try to believe. Look to Jesus. Turn your eyes upon him. Feed on him. Walk with him. Bring him into your life. Involve him in anything. And when you're in trouble, you simply turn and say, my friend, that is faith. And you trust and you have confidence in your friend, and all the power that is in your friend comes to your assistant because you have the tool to open the door. I have that confidence because my confidence is not in my faith or in my ability. My confidence is in my friend. We are to blame for lack of faith. But we're not to blame for lack of faith because we don't struggle to have faith enough. Because we don't exercise our mind power enough. We don't want to be confused. We don't want to be confused. It's not about exercising mental ability. We need to understand where we are to blame is that we have chosen to neglect Jesus Christ. That is the reason why our faith is little. We become focused on the church, on the fellowship, even on the Bible. Anything, as long as it keeps us from focusing on Jesus himself, Satan will be happy with it. God is true, and God's promises are true. And those who know him as a friend, they will have that confidence regardless of what they see happening around them. We trust God. We don't trust the news. We don't trust our circumstances. We don't trust the doubts that other people express. We trust God because we know God and we understand that his word is true. They that trust in the Lord shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever. As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so the Lord is round about his people from henceforth even forever. Let God be true, but every man a liar. So I encourage you, brothers and sisters, let us turn our eyes upon Jesus and keep them there.